All right, this goes along with our Unit 7.1. We're just getting into talking about transformational geometry and transformations. Specifically today, we're going to get into what are called translations. So Unit 7 really talks about transformations, and we're going to talk about changing the size, it's going to be a change in the size, the location, or the orientation of a figure. Okay, and by orientation we mean the way that it appears. Okay, so it can be size, location, or orientation. And there's different types of transformations. Today specifically we're going to talk about a translation. Another word for translation might be, you've heard this in the past, maybe a slide. So a translation is a type of transformation which slides each point of the figure the same distance and in the same direction. Okay, after we do our translation, the resulting figure after the transformation is called the image of the original figure. So we're going to take a look at a couple examples. They say in this one that triangle ABC is translated 1 unit right and then 4 units up. We're going to draw triangle A prime, B prime, and C prime. Notice these little marks. So we read those A prime, B prime, and C prime. This tells us that's our way of saying that it's our image. Just a way of labeling what our second figure is going to be. All right, so if I'm going to move this triangle in these directions, I'm going to start by taking each point. So I'm going to start at A, and I'm going to follow this translation rule here. I'm going to go 1 right, and then up 4. And I'm going to put a point there. So 1 right, up 4. And I'm going to label it my A prime. Now I have to do the same thing with B. 1 to the right and up 4. This one now is going to be my B prime. And then same with C. 1 to the right, up 4. That'll be our C prime. And then once you have translated each point, notice you can connect those. And we have the exact same triangle, but it's just translated. We moved it 1 to the right and then up 4. So it shows that it's a slide. And then just to kind of pay attention to our new coordinates, we're going to list out the new coordinates of A prime. That point is at 2, 1. B prime is now at 4, 4. And C prime is now at 5, 2. So to come up with a general rule, a way to say that we can get from triangle ABC to triangle A prime, B prime, C prime, notice what's happening to our coordinates here. All of the x values increased by 1. We went from 1 to 2, 3 to 4, 4 to 5. And that comes from the way that we moved to the right. So we shifted our x 1 to the right. So we can say that we took x and we added 1. So that kind of shows that we went 1 to the right. Right, and then with our y values, we were going up 4. So when in our coordinates we can see we went from -3 to a +1 for our y values. 0 to 4 for the y value. -2 to +2. So it's really taking the original y value and then adding 4. And we can show that again in the rule that it would be y plus 4. And that again comes from moving up 4. So a general rule, a way that we write that, is that we have our original point, x, y, and then after the translation, it becomes x plus 1, and then y plus 4. So that's another way that you can write it, instead of saying 1 to the right and up 4. All right, let's take a look at example 2 on the next page. So now we have triangle JKL with these coordinates. So our first step is that we actually want to draw this triangle out. We're going to have to plot these points on the graph. So we have 0, 2, 3, 4, and 5, 1. And I'm going to label those points as well. This was J, K, and L. All right, and notice it's going to make a triangle once we connect those. And then in part B, we're going to draw the image of J prime, K prime, L prime after the translation of 4 units to the left and then 5 units up. So again, we have to take each point and go 4 left. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then go 5 units up. So now this becomes my J prime. Same thing with K. 4 to the left, and then 5 up. That's going to be K prime. And then same with L. 4 to the left, and 5 up. And we'll make that L prime. All right, so here is our image. Kind of like a copy of it. We just followed that translation. All right, and then our new ordered pairs for J prime became -4, 7 over here. K prime is now at -1, 9. And L prime is now at 1, 6. Right, and so we're going to write our rule. We started with the point x, y. What do we notice happening to all the x values? And also think about how we moved. We moved 4 units to the left. All of our x values are going down by 4. It went from 0 to -4, 3 to -1, 5 to 1. So they're going down by 4 this time, and that's because we moved left. So it's actually x subtracting 4 for the rule. And then all of our y values, y's go from 2 to 7, 4 to 9, and 1 to 6. So those are increasing by 5, and that's because we went 5 units up. And we can show that we're taking the y value and adding 5. Okay, so that would be a way algebraically to write our rule. Okay, another way it says, tell me more about this figure. Is it congruent or similar? Well, we can say that they are similar cross it up. We can say that they are exactly congruent. We never changed anything, right? All the sides and angles stayed the same. The sides and angles are all still the same, so they are exactly congruent. They're exactly the same figure. Okay, to notice your translation location for your x-coordinate, this kind of helps you when you're writing your rules. You're always going to add if it goes to the right. So if we move to the right, we'll be adding to the x value. And if we go to the left, we'll be subtracting. And then for our rule for our y value, if we move up, we'll be adding. And when we move down, we'll subtract. Okay, so that'll just help you when you're trying to write your rule out there too, that chart. Okay, one more example. Write a general rule to describe the one that's shown below. LMN is the original figure. So the one without the prime, this is our original figure here. And we're trying to see, what did we do to this to move it or translate it? So L, if I follow that path, I went from L to L prime. I had to move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to the right. And then up 2. So for our rule, for my x values, I went 6 right. So I'm going to take my x value and add 6. And then to the y values, I'm moving up 2, so I'm going to take my y value and add 2. So that would be a way of saying that rule there for example 3. All right, last example together. We're going to graph the points and make a triangle. So let's start with our T, U, and V here. We got 0, 3, 2, 4, T, U, and then V is 5, negative 1. So we're going to connect those, make a triangle. And then we're going to translate this using this rule now. So we're taking our original x, y points, and now we're going to do x minus 3 and y minus 1. So what is this rule telling us to do? Well, the x minus 3 part, for moving the x coordinate minus 3, we're going to go left 3. And then the y minus 1, for the y values, if they're going to go down by 1, that means we're going to move down 1. All right, so let's go ahead and do that. We're going to take each one and go left 3, down 1. And that'll be our T prime. Left 3, down 1. Kind of close to each other here. That's our U prime. And then same thing with V. Left 3, down 1. That'll be our V prime. Okay, and notice again we have a congruent triangle. It's exactly the same. It just shifted over. It shifted left and then down. All right, and our new ordered pairs. Well, I can use what's up here. I know all my x values are just going to be subtracting 3 from them. And all of my y values are also going to be subtracting, but only subtracting 1. Okay, and also looking on the graph here, t prime ends up at negative 3, 2. U prime ends up at negative 1, 3. And then this v prime ends up at 2, negative 2. All right. The very last one has us doing one more step. We're going to use our image here, so the one we created, and perform one more additional translation following the rule. This time we're going to take our x value and add 3, so we're going to go right 3, and then it says y minus 3. So to the y values, we're going to subtract 3 or move down 3. Okay, so it's using this one. So for taking t prime, I'm going to go right 3 and then down 3. And then to label it, this is going to become my t prime prime. It's kind of like my second movement here. All right, and then with u, I got to do the same thing. Right 3 and down 3. And that is now my u prime prime. U double prime, huh? And then v prime. So we're going to go right and then down 3. There's our v double prime. Okay, and we can connect those. And notice it's still the same triangle. They kind of overlap here. Another congruent triangle. Okay, so all of them are congruent. We're just sliding the original triangle, and that is what's called the translation. All right, you can move on to the next worksheet. We're going to do some more examples together.